Hello, welcome back to Beat the Banks podcast. I'm Wade Borth. I am a trainer, coach, mentor, and a wealth strategist at Factum Financial. And here today, I want to talk about what does that mean? What does being a wealth strategist mean for you or anybody that's listening? We use that term rather loosely sometimes, not us, but I think our industry. But I want to share with you today just a couple of thoughts about growing wealth. And let's talk about what does growing wealth mean? So if you can just imagine on the screen, I have your wealth is this circle, all the things that you own, all you value, it's your business, if it's your personal wealth, whatever it is all encompassed within the circle. And what do we want that circle to do? We want that circle to grow and expand as much as possible, right? And so most people believe in order to grow that circle of wealth or that wealth that you have, the only way that you can do it, if it's on the personal side, is by taking more risk. You need a higher rate of return if you want to truly grow that circle of wealth. Well, in all reality, maybe there's other ways. Are you open to thinking, hey, maybe there's a different way to grow that circle than just by getting a higher rate of return? Because what happens when you chase a return if you have to get a higher rate of return on your investments on whatever that you're doing, is that you take on additional risk. And is that additional risk worth it? Or if maybe there's a better way to do it, maybe there's a way to do it without taking additional risk, and then we can keep more of what we earn and what we have, and therefore growing our circle of wealth in the process. So, and from a business standpoint, we think about it from, how do we grow our business? Are we growing it through the use of, more inventory, more acquisition, or whatever it might be, which can all be costly. But again, what if there was a better way to grow your business where you didn't have to take all that additional risk, or you didn't have to have all that extra inventory or hire all those other people? So really what we're talking about, and where our team, especially at Factum, where we approach it, is by having efficiency in our dollars. And so what does that mean by efficiency in our dollars? So let's talk about that a little bit. Again, most people think, hey, I got to get a better rate of return. But again, at the end of the day, maybe if we could think about it from the standpoint of identifying, reducing wealth transfers. And this is the real key. And I'm going to go into these a little bit, but I just want you to understand that what we do at Factum Financial is that we have a passion to help people empower either business owners or clients to eliminate these transfers. And what are we talking about transfers? And we'll talk about some of these in just a little bit, but it's a process that we go through. We have what we call a wealth scorecard, where we have people go through. We have a presentation where we talk about our wealth pyramid. And, part of that is about financial awareness. And so this is all about financial awareness. I don't think we're going to take this podcast to go deep into a lot of these subjects as far as how to eliminate the wealth transfers, but that's the opportunity that you have from an individual standpoint to sit down with somebody and say, how do I do this? Now, I'm going to tell you that what we teach and what we coach is that we want to stick in our lane, but we also want to be aware of a lot of these other things. So where we're experts at and what we do is, hey, we work in the life insurance side. We find a more efficient environment for you to hold your dollars. And so that's what we want to stick to. But we also are aware of some of these other areas that you're doing some unnecessary transfer of wealth and of dollars outside of your system. So again, the whole idea is it's not about always making more money. It's about keeping more money, right? So there's an adage that says, there's a lot to be had by not necessarily increasing your rate of return, but eliminating the holes in your bucket. So what we're going to talk about today is just what can we do? What value can we bring you to help you plug up those holes in your bucket? So if you think about this from a standpoint of, here's a list of a lot of wealth transfers that we talk about, right? So, and I'm going to go through these fairly quick, but if you think about your mortgage, right? Everybody might say, hey, I got a 30-year mortgage, or I got a mortgage on my house, or a mortgage on my business, or whatever it is. A couple of things we would make a point out there is is it 30-year? Is it 15-year? Again, if it's 15-year, does that make sense? Is that really what you want? Or are you trying to avoid some interest? Did you get a deal at the bank? But let's have a conversation around that to make sure that it fits with what you're trying to do and fits what your purpose is. And then at the end of the day, if you have the ability to finance that, would it be better for you to have it outside finance, or would you be better to finance it yourself? So those are some of the things that we bring back in the banking conversation, the banking function. Qualified plans. This is rather interesting because most people would say, well, that's not a transfer of dollars out of our system or transfer of money out of our system. And I would make a case that maybe it is. And again, if you like a qualified plan, if you're contributing and you're sacrificing to do it, That's great if that's what you want to continue to do. But all we want to do is say, is our belief system in line with our actions? Is our belief that we want to have more control over our money and more access and use of our money in alignment with our actions? And I would say, does a qualified plan allow you to do all those things you want? Do you have liquidity, use, and control of your dollars inside of a qualified plan? And maybe you do, and maybe it's worth your while, but at least it's that financial awareness. So when you're answering that question, you're answering it from a place of knowledge and understanding versus a place of not having that knowledge and understanding. So, that's another thing that we have a lot of conversations with our clients about. Hey, does this make sense for you to hold dollars there? Is it whose playing field is it, right? Whose football field is it, and can that government move the goalposts on you? And have they ever done that before? Another area that we talk about wealth transfers that you're either unknowingly or unwittingly doing is college funding. We just recently did a deep dive where we talked about here's what the problem is, right? Nelson talked about the problem in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. And the whole point is that we transfer a tremendous amount of money away when we pay for college. But what if we changed the environment and the thought process around paying for college? And if we understand what the problem is, that we finance everything we do, and so therefore do we want to take control of that financing system instead of our own family banking system, would we be transferring those dollars away? And so, again, go to Fact and Financial, go to our resources page, look for our deep dives. And in their deep dives, we just did a piece on college funding and the problem and what the real cost is when you do that. I'm not saying it's not worth to do it, but understand what the real cost is, and then you can make an informed decision from that point. But if you say, hey, I want to do something different, then can we hold that within our own circle of wealth? And if we finance it through the family bank, are we not holding those dollars and redirecting those dollars back to an entity that we own and control? So that's really what we're talking about with this idea of limiting wealth transfers. Because again, it's not always about making more money. It's about plugging holes in our bucket so we don't have as much leakage. Then we get into the area of taxes. Now, this is not our expertise, but this is part of our conversation. Are we engaged with a tax strategist? Are we engaged with people that are giving us ideas of how to, not just what taxes we have to pay? We don't want a historian, somebody that's looking in the rearview mirror. What we're looking for is, hey, do we have somebody that's on our side giving us advice and giving us some ideas on how we can better plan for a better way to pay those taxes? And the other side of that equation is that, should we be, this kind of goes back to the qualified plan conversation. Are we better served? We understand we probably have to pay taxes. There's just no getting around it. If you're making money, the whole idea, if you're making money, good, because then you're going to pay more taxes. But don't pay more tax than you have to. But are we at the lowest tax rate we're ever going to see, right? So I'm going to go back to qualified plans since we're talking about taxes. Here's an idea is like, if this is the best tax environment we're in, why are we deferring from this best tax environment to something that is unknown and potentially much higher than what we're going to pay today? And again, into a system that somebody else controls so they can change the rules. And they've done that in the past. They require that you take the money out, so they're going to change those age groups when you have to take those dollars out. So anyhow, that's part of what a wealth strategist does, is like they partner you with those people that are experts in those areas. Another area that we talk about, and we're really adamant about this area, is the area of protection, right? If you're not transferring risk, you're eventually going to transfer money. So let me say that one more time again. Any great plan, if you're growing a cash flow system, if you have real estate or property, if you don't have protection for that asset, the point is you're either going to transfer that risk or eventually you're going to transfer cash to pay for it. So the question is, would you rather plan for it and know what it is, or have it sneak up on you? Just a really good example is if you have a piece of property and you're not meeting with your P&C guy, and the property goes up tremendous value and it burns down, and you didn't have it insured for the right amount, how many years worth of compounding did you lose? So these are ideas and these are thoughts around what a wealth strategy is. Again, this isn't what we do, but we have experts on our team. We have great relationships with people that can help you through that process. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that we know our lane, we stick to our lane, but we also want to empower you, the client, to say, hey, who do I hook up with that understands what you're talking about, that can help me stop these transfers of wealth outside of my circle? And so, we talk about, do you have the right wills and trust in place? Because that's a big transfer if you don't do that correctly. And again, it's at a time when either your heirs or you don't have much ability to change that, because that's usually at the time of death. Do you have an umbrella policy, major medical insurance? We have wills and trust. In long-term care, there's another transfer if you're not being aware of it. Again, part of this is financial awareness. Sometimes we can't get it all done right away, and this is where our wealth scorecard comes into play. So, and this is the conversation we would have as a wealth strategist with our clients. Like, do you have the wealth scorecard? Do you know where you rank at? Do you see areas that we can be working on? And it kind of lays out a pathway. It lays out a process for us to say, I know where I'm headed. I may not be able to get it all done right away, but at least I have an idea where these transfers are going to come, and we can start addressing them. And I think that's the start. It's that financial awareness. And then when you have major purchases, this is probably one of the other areas that we see a lot of wealth transfer. And what we mean by major purchases is that you're buying stuff that you have to finance. And if you're financing credit cards or car or something like that, what if you owned the financing system that you could do this in? What if you're buying investment property with cash, or you're using Wells Fargo to do that? All we're going to do is we're going to take the strategies that they understand that they do, and all we're going to do is say, hey, let's take those ideas and implement it in your own system. So now you control the banking function. You're the one that's in control versus having somebody else in control. And so those transfers, you still have to pay the interest, and you still have to pay for that product. It's not like you can magically not have a cost to it, but now it's inside an environment that you own and control. So that's the whole idea, that we're going to control the environment. And so when you control the environment, you can eliminate a lot of these transfers. So again, we're trying to grow your wealth, to grow your wealth circle. If you're a business, you can grow it by doing more inventory, or buying additional stores, or doubling the size of your operation, whatever it is. That truly is a way to grow your business in your circle of wealth inside your business. Or if you're going to get a higher rate of return on your investments as an individual, that will grow that circle of wealth for you. But the point is, are there other ways, and the more efficient ways? And we truly believe that by eliminating the negatives, eliminating the transfers, there's more to be had there than there is by having a greater rate of return on an investment, or by growing your business 5 or 10-fold. Start here and then go to get a higher rate of return, then go and double your business. And that's what we call the sequence. So, and really at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is we're going to help you, or empower you to seek, to put yourself in control of your money. And that's really where this is important, is that we want you to take control of your dollars. We want you to take control of that function in your life. And this is where we come into play. This is where our expertise falls, to help you set up a system to where you can grow and control your dollars, so you can grow that circle, your circle of wealth, because now it's in your environment. That those transfers aren't leaving your environment, and you have the ability to control the banking function in your life, which just means that you're in control, and it's in those dollars are flowing back to you in your system versus flowing to Wells Fargo. Again, we have to treat our money better than we treat Wells Fargo's. That means, if you have dollars and you use them, make sure you put them back, so we can go back and do the next transfer, or the next purchase, whatever it might be. So anyhow, that's just a little bit about where we can come, and we can help empower you to grow your circle of wealth, your area of wealth, because that's what you want, right? You want a bigger circle. You want it to grow each and every day. And our job is to help you be aware of where those transfers are coming, hook you up with a professional in that area, and in our area, help you take control of that banking function. So I look forward to it. Again, go back. We got tremendous resources on the Factum Financial website, or whoever you're working with. Reach out to them and ask them for the wealth scorecard, because this is the start. That's the start of saying, hey, where are these transfers coming from, or where are they going? And then what can I do to eliminate those? Some people have a lot of transfers. It's going to take us some time to get that done, but just know that it's the progression of solving the problem. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is. Now we're aware of it, and now we have a process to fix it and take care of it. So again, thank you for your time. And again, like this podcast, share it with other people, put a comment down below. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear kind of what your thoughts are about this idea of plugging the holes in your system. And then that's one great way to grow wealth. So share this message, because this message can be impactful to a lot of people. So thank you so much for your time.